If we're going out, then we're going out with a bang. The orbital strike cannon is Minecraft's strongest weapon, holding the power to destroy entire worlds in an instant. And since I'm going to be jumping in the void at 10,000 days, I'm going to, well, you know what? Just see for yourself. But way before that, I've got to build this massive monstrosity. And it also works with wireless redstone. Yep, you can be thousands of blocks away from the cannon and control everything wirelessly. As you can imagine, building this requires a lot of redstone items, a load of TNT, and lots of building blocks. But in addition to that, it also requires 544 music discs. Yeah, I'm gonna have to make a pretty powerful farm to get all of them. But before that, another item that I need loads of is copper bulbs. They can be crafted from these items, or I can just easily grab some from trial chambers. That is all of them. I got about 5 extra. And next I need honeycomb because 40 of them are waxed and 55 are not. And I don't want my orbital strike cannon to look old. So waxing them is going to be very important. And don't you worry, I'm SP737, so of course I've got a farm for that. It's right here next to the terrorized villagers. Look at them, they can't get a good night's sleep. And all being well, yeah, okay, that's way more than we need. So I can place all of these down, give them a little wax on, Danielson, and mine them up. And guys, I'm also going to say that you should definitely make sure that you are subscribed. We are just 1 week away from 10,000 days, so you should definitely turn on notifications, because I do not want you to miss it. And I'm also going to say that even after 10,000 days, you should stay subscribed, because with what I've got planned, you don't want to miss it. I can't really tell you what, because it's a bit of a secret. But all I can say is that you just need to trust me and stay subscribed, because I promise, I will not disappoint. Now, on the other hand, or on another subject, I need 1,251 activator rails. Very conveniently, I've got 51, which means we need another 1,200. Which incidentally will require 1,200 iron ingots to craft. That, to be honest with you, I don't have. I do have an iron farm though. It's this massive roller coaster-like farm, where at the bottom, yeah, we've got a lot of it. In fact, there's so much that I can refill this shulker. And my inventory as well, for that matter. I'm also going to need a load of sticks and redstone torches to complete the crafts. And now, I think it's time I tackle the music discs issue. I have quite a few of them in my bedroom. As you can see, the chests have got a decent amount. And I have this set up for a farm right here, which gets me 150 music discs per hour. But realistically, I don't want to spend hours and hours waiting for them, when I can build a way more powerful one that gets me 8,000 music discs per hour. Now that is more like it. It involves sending creepers to the nether, villagers spawning new golems for skellies to fire at, and a pretty complex sorting system. As you can imagine, such a farm is going to take a lot of materials, most of which I will have in my chest room. Some I have ready and waiting at other farms, and some I'll have to farm completely from scratch. A lot of carpet is going to be needed for spawn proofing, and very conveniently, there is a lot of wool right here for that. I've already got a lot of the needed items right here. Yep, there's so many stuff needed, but I still need plenty more, so I'm going to get to work. And on a side note, they also added fast crafting to Minecraft, so if you press the spacebar, it'll just do the exact same craft again. So you can craft really, really quick now. It's so good. Like, imagine I want to turn all of these ink sacs into dye. Well, look how quickly I can now do it. It's such an awesome feature that is way quicker than doing it manually like this. No, you could just go like that. Anyway, I can't spend too much time getting excited about Minecraft updates. Instead, I'm going to get to work grabbing absolutely everything that I need. It took a little longer than expected, but every single needed item is in this double chest, and for the nether side of it, I've also got to build with all of those items. This really is a bigger project than I thought it was going to be. In fact, I don't even have enough inventory space to carry all of the shulkers. Yeah, it really is a mega project. I'm going to build it a little bit further away from my world because I don't want any other nether portals to interfere. And for the best results, it should be built in a perimeter, but I'm not going to make one of them. I'm just going to build it over an ocean. This is probably as good a spot as any. Most of the items are now safely in this chest, but I've just got to fly back home. Spawn a load of creaking on the way. Yeah, that's a little crazy, isn't it? To grab the remaining items. the bottom of this farm is going to be a massive water collection system that pushes any creepers that spawn into nether portals. That is just one of the platforms done, and there's going to be 4 of these in total. You'll also notice these little gaps. These gaps exist because this is where the portal edges are. It's going to be obsidian. A creeper won't be able to go through the portal. So instead, I'm going to place wither roses to get rid of them. And with the bottom layer of this platform done, I'm now going to build up all of the other ones. Perfect, and now above this, I need to add another layer going all the way around the edge, which will hold water in that pushes the creepers into the portal. But of course, I can't add the water until the portals are lit. So, I shall build these up like that. Add signs above every wither rose so they don't get flooded. And then after activating all these, I can use water to push everything along. Perfect. Collection pool number 1 is officially now done, which means it's time to do the exact same thing 3 more times. There we go. All successfully done. And then to spawn-proof the portals, I'm just going to add a load of carpet. With all of that done below, I can now focus on the spawning platforms, and trust me, there's going to be a lot of them. So the way this will work is that creepers will spawn on the red concrete, and the tripwire hooks will detect that, sending a redstone signal into the block, and activate a piston that will push them off. Iron trapdoors are required as well, so that only creepers can spawn on these blocks, because trapdoors make the height space a little bit lower. From there, everything needs to be spawn-proofed, carpets can go on all of this, and there needs to be slabs on top of the trapdoors. And with that done, it's basically going to be the exact same thing, repeated 4 more times above this, so that they have loads and loads of places that they can spawn. It's a pretty big project, but it'll all be worth it for the music discs, so I'm gonna get to work. And that is the farm completely done. Up here is the spot to AFK at, and at the moment it will only spawn creepers at night, because as you can imagine, it's definitely not dark enough. And I'm just going to grab a crazy amount of slabs to cover this entire farm in darkness. And that is now also out of the way. Is it way bigger than it needs to be? Probably, but you can see the dark shadow around it now. And now I shall remove this portal that links to the farm and build the nether side of the farm right here. On both sides here and also over there, we've got shulker box loaders that basically collect all the gunpowder, and then we'll put it in these chests because it does get a lot of gunpowder as well. And this right here is a music disc sorter that uses the output strength that a jukebox gives when playing a music disc, and that strength makes each item go in a different barrel. I'll show you how it works. It's very, very cool. So yeah, a music disc will go into the jukebox through that hopper and will instantly be pulled out by the minecart hopper, and then it'll go into that hopper, and how far along these droppers it goes depends on how much strength it sends to this comparator. And because they all give out a different signal strength, that allows them to all be sorted into different chests. And with the collection and sorting system now complete, I'm going to focus on what actually produces the music discs. So right here, iron golems are going to be stood, and the creepers are going to land right here. Then the skeletons are going to try and shoot the iron golems, but they're going to hit the creepers, and that's going to produce music discs. Using this combination of enchantment tables and trapdoors means that there's only that tiny little gap for the arrows to go through. Look at that. I can't even really trick the camera to fit through. It's a very tiny gap. And it means that the golems are almost completely guaranteed to be safe. Now the important thing for me to do is fill these 3 slots. That's going to be a little bit of a challenge, but my idea is to build a platform that mobs can spawn on, then add a minecart track that goes straight to the top. From there, if I fly upwards, mobs will spawn. I didn't want a ghast to spawn. That is not part of the plan. That guy, on the other hand, he's going to be very useful. In this shulker box, I have netherite armor that doesn't have thorns on it, which is probably the right thing to wear. Then I just need to lure this guy over here and into the minecart. That was surprisingly easy. From there, we drop him right in, break the minecart, and repeat the process. That's all 3 of those guys in. Perfect. That was probably the hardest part done. And with that out of the way, I can now build where the creepers fall down and where the iron golems are gonna be spawned. And that is nether side also done. Except for 2 things. And those 2 things are cats. Cats to scare away the creepers. Now, the cats in this farm have been here for nearly 10,000 days. So you know what? It's finally time for you to be free. And by free, I mean you can briefly leave this farm and instead live right here. I'm also going to manually spawn in the iron golems rather than using the farm. It's just going to be quicker to set up, and I've got loads of spare iron to do it. Next, when I break these blocks, they should start shooting. Yep, they're shooting arrows, but most of them are never going to get through. Just an occasional one will. Then I can disable my mob switch so that down below, creepers will spawn. And I thought I'd lost this cat. Turned out I must have gone through a portal by mistake because I had to replace him with another one. Well, I'm glad I found you. I guess you can now be my companion and live up here. But as all of those creepers go through the portals, they are constantly getting shot at by these guys. And the music discs are going through this chest into the jukebox and filling up the chests. As you can see, each chest has its own music discs in. And that means I've now got enough to start adding them to the item frames. And I did also have to rotate the disc sorter. It's directional. I didn't realize. So yeah, I just had to rebuild that and move it. But yeah, I'm very, very happy with the farm. So I'm going to let the music discs fly through. A few days have passed, and I reckon that's probably all that it takes to get the discs that I need, assuming that the farm is working fine. I mean, the jukebox is still doing stuff, which is a positive. And oh my goodness. I have never seen so many music. This farm is ridiculous. I was only there for like 2 or 3 days, and I have every single one that I need for the orbital strike cannon. Yeah, kind of forgot that we were building that. And with that out of the way, all of the other needed items for the cannon are pretty straightforward. So, I shall put my best foot forward and start collecting them. And once I crafted these daylight detectors, I've got absolutely everything, and I'm almost ready to get started. The only thing that I do want to quickly do before is put that ender pearl there so it's loading the chunks, so those shulkers are loaded, and mobs won't spawn, because I don't want to be disturbed whilst I'm building. I'm going to build the cannon somewhere in this direction. At this height, you can build it underground and make it all secretive, but I'm the only person in this world. There's no point in hiding it, so I'm going to be building it in open space. And whilst you can't really see my world from here, if I bump up the render distance, there you go. You can see the logo I built, you can slightly see the factory. So we're not a million miles away, but we're far away enough. The design for this cannon, like all the other ones, is by cubic meter. And I am very glad that his designs nowadays are so much more survival friendly and minimal. He takes into account so much more, which is very, very helpful when rebuilding his machines, because they are just so useful. This right here acts as a player detector, so the redstone is only activated because the minecart is only loaded when a player is nearby, and that controls so many parts of the machine, and it's such an important mechanic to make sure that it doesn't break whilst the player is in the area. Adding the water is pretty important because if something goes wrong and TNT explodes where it's not supposed to, it's not going to destroy stuff because it'll end up landing in water. It's a very, very clever way to protect the machine. Loads and loads of water is going to be dotted about all over here, really. Whilst placing water everywhere does lower the chance of screwing something up, it is also kind of annoying to add it all, especially with the limited inventory space. There's going to be TNT right here, and there's also going to be TNT under these observers, but I'm not placing it just yet in case something goes wrong and I activate a redstone current that blows everything up. Yeah, I definitely don't want that to happen. So TNT placing is the very last thing to be done. I also now feel safe adding the TNT in there because I'm now adding a waterlogged slab, so if anything went wrong when the TNT activated, it would be underwater anyway and it wouldn't break anything. And whilst I've done so much of the redstone, as you can see, the rest of this build is just to continue layering it up. I think I've done most of the complex stuff, but I've still got stuff like loads of activator rails, loads of items and blocks to get down, really. So I'm going to keep going, keep being busy, and complete the build. And the orbital strike cannon is now complete. Well, kinda. This part is anyway. I do still need to set up the nether side of the chunk loaders, which is very, very easy indeed. It's literally just 2 portals with netherrack on fire. And then the final thing that's missing is the wireless redstone interface that will connect to the machine. It's literally a password protected system, which is kind of cool. I'm going to set the password to be every single one of these lamps lit up. which might not make a lot of sense right now, but trust me, it will once the build is done. And as far as the position that I'm going to build the interface, it can be anywhere in the overworld as long as it's far away enough to unload the orbital strike cannon. So the strike cannon cannot be in my render distance. And I do also need to grab a few extra items to actually build the control panel side. Also, if you're wondering why I've got shears, it's because I use them to fill up the barrels to output a certain signal strength. I'll show you on the machine when I get to it. And the list of needed items isn't too extensive, so I'm going to get busy and get to work grabbing everything. And with that, I've got everything. As you can see, nowhere near as much as before. And I'm also once again going to need boats for a chunk loader. A load of random items, which I've got loads of redstone dust, so a load of random items to go in the dispensers. Or the droppers, they're not dispensers. And a hopper minecart will come in very handy as well. So like I said, it doesn't really matter where I build this control panel. All I do have to worry about is that it is far away enough from the main cannon. And I reckon right here is as good a place as any to build it. Not that far from my world, but just far enough. It's crazy how much better wireless redstone has got since I last used it. I haven't used it for thousands of days in my hardcore world. I'm just putting a load of redstone dust in these droppers, which is what is going to be part of the system that detects the wireless redstone. It's done through items being dispensed through droppers. It's pretty complicated, but it's pretty crazy how cool it is as well. I've become a bit of a dab hand at setting up these chunk loaders now. Let's get that in there. I think this is the last of the droppers that I need to fill with items to make the machine work, which is good news. I've also nearly finished the control panel. It's basically a giant QR code system where you press different buttons and it lights up different bulbs behind it. And that will send very specific information to the orbital strike cannon. It's so cool. It's like a QR code. And that is every single redstone component down. I think I've done it all correct. It's mainly filling the droppers that's the most important thing. The very final thing to do is head through this portal to set up the chunk loader. And it's ready. Absolutely everything is ready. I wish I could blast this guy with it, to be honest. What are you doing? You know what? I'm not going to kill you. I'm just going to push you off. Apparently he refuses to go off. All right, that's it. You're going. Yep, and so are you guys as well. Flicking this lever will turn on the chunk loader. I guess I can just double check it's working. Looks fine to me. So when it comes to executing this, first things first, I need to make sure that both of these chunk loaders are switched on. I need to make sure that this lever is switched off. Now the wireless receiver is switched on. And I can get ready to fire the cannon. This spreadsheet by cubic meter allows me to put in all sorts of different data so I can put in the exact coordinates that I want it to be, the size, the type, and it gives me the QR code to enter. And I reckon first things first, we should do a test firing right here. The TNT is going to come down there, and if possible, I want to see the blast happen, but not be too near to it. So, I'm linking up a portal that's a safe distance away. Next, I need to take this exact QR code and recreate it with these copper bulbs. The lamps in this red column mean it's at full power. Yeah, we're going to do the most powerful nuke that this machine can. And then this one is the password. So you'll remember I lit up every single lamp at the password of the cannon. So that one's also all lit up. The QR code is now inputted. To send it through, I just have to push this button. Now, if it has got a signal and a connection with the cannon, I will hear a sound. There we go. Did you hear it? So now you can see it's communicating with the orbital strike cannon, and it's going to take about 4 or 5 minutes to build up the charge. Once that finishes flashing, I'll know it's done. It's now finished the operation. It did a little ding, and we're going to head through this portal's probably the best idea. And now, when I head through this portal, the TNT should load over there. Okay, hold on. I've just seen a... What on earth has just happened? Oh my goodness. Look at the destruction, ladies and gentlemen. What a massive blast. Okay, that is kind of crazy. Imagine this, but on top of my hardcore world. Okay, hold your horses, ladies and gentlemen. And brace yourselves as I put in the details for the coordinates of my hardcore world. And with that, I am just one button push away from blowing up everything in my hardcore world. The whole shebang is gonna be destroyed. And so, 3, 2, 1. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna push it today. You see, I'm currently on day 9,871, which means there's 129 days to go. So on day 10,000, I will push the button and blow up my world. But before that, there's a bit more to be done, and 129 days left to play, but 10,000 days in hardcore Minecraft is coming on the 29th of March. That's the day the world will be 10,000 days old, and it's the day that I will be 10,000 days old in real life too. Kind of poetic, isn't it? So, I'm looking forward to the final video in the hardcore world, and I shall see you guys there.